Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Good morning, everybody. My name is Drew Embury, and welcome to our NOLOGY Education Series event, Organize the Chaos with Microsoft OneNote, one of my favorite topics. So we found there's a lot going on in the technology industry today, and it can be overwhelming to business people. So we hope that these sessions, these webinars, can bring clarity to some of the different technology buzzwords that are being used in the industry today and help you put them to use in your organization. My name is Drew Embury, and I'm a partner here at P&L Technology. My role is to help set the technical direction for our company and our clients, and to help you get the most out of your technology investment. I'm really excited for this topic today. We've got record attendance numbers. We were overwhelmed with the number of people that are watching today, and I really think that speaks to the popularity and relevance of Microsoft OneNote and what people want to learn what it can do for them. So here's an overview of how this will work. This is a listen-only event, and it will be recorded, so you can watch it later or share it with your coworkers or colleagues. We know everyone is busy, and I'm going to try to commit to a 30-minute maximum time for this event. This is a seminar I normally give that's about an hour, hour and 15 minutes, so I had to cut some material out, but we're still going to give you a great taste of what OneNote is and what it can do. We will leave some time at the end for questions, and if the webinar runs up against 30 minutes, I will stay on the line maybe a little bit longer if there are questions. If people need to drop off at that point, I would certainly understand. If you do have questions while the webinar is in progress, please use the chat function to send them in, and we'll save time at the end to address as many as we can. Following this session, I do have an announcement of some future topics and some future training opportunities to allow you to get hands-on training for products like Microsoft OneNote that we think you might be interested in. You'll also be receiving an email at the end of this that contains a short survey. We hope you'll take the time to fill out, as it'll help us making these sessions more valuable in the future. Okay, so what are we talking about today? Well, our agenda today is we're going to start just a little bit with what Microsoft OneNote is. A lot of people have heard of it, but they really don't even know what it is, so we want to lay the groundwork. We're going to make a case on why you need it and why information workers, people in your organizations, can no longer afford to be without a note-taking tool like Microsoft OneNote. We're going to discuss ways that OneNote can relieve pressures that you're probably already facing and don't have a solution for. We're going to spend most of our time demonstrating OneNote in action live, so you don't have to just look at some slides. You can actually watch and see how it works for yourself, and then start to think about how you can map that to your business. We'll spend just a little bit of time talking about if you are convinced that OneNote is right for you, what's required to get it set up and working properly. And then again, we'll leave time for questions at the end. So what is Microsoft OneNote? Well, OneNote is a digital note-taking application for use in business, education. So although we're going to be talking about business today, if any of you have high school or college-age kids or kids about to go there, OneNote can be a fabulous tool for them to take notes and pull in study guides and worksheets and things like that, and keep it all organized, retrievable for studying for exams and things like that, and your personal use. We can use OneNote anywhere. Your stuff, your notes, your information that you put into the system will follow you wherever you go, to your work computer, potentially your home computer, your tablet, your iPhone. It's all available wherever you're at, which adds to the power of OneNote. We can use OneNote to capture our thoughts, so ideas we get, to-do items that come up in our daily work that we need to make sure we don't overlook. Documents, information, things from the web. We can put all that into OneNote and then use that to find our notes quickly with powerful search and retrieval later on down the road. And we can use it to do things like clip articles from the web, add photos. Maybe we're using a whiteboard in our companies. We've got some great things on the whiteboard and we want to capture and record that. And things like audio clips. That can all be put into OneNote and used. So why do we need OneNote? What's the case for it? Why is it so popular? Why do we have so many people signed up today on this webinar? Well, I wanted to just read a quick blurb from an article I saw the other day. And it says, how do we remember something like the name of a restaurant? It's largely through the associations we have with it in our heads. The trigger for remembering it might be thinking about who you were with when you heard about it, where you were at the time, what else you were doing at the time, maybe a related word or image. And from those bits and pieces, we can often dredge up a forgotten but important thought, but not always. Our brains have very limited memory capacity, which is why no matter what we do, we still forget most of the information we come across. And that's a growing problem in an age in which information in all forms is flying at us at ever faster rates, and you're not sure which of it will prove useful in the future. Plus, aging baby boomers find themselves with less and less memory to work with. No one is happy with their meat brain. It's overloaded by the time we're in high school, and it's about as universal a problem as you can get. So we try to compensate this problem by storing data on our laptop computers, our tablets, our smartphones. We write down notes. We use sticky notes. We use legal pads. But really, it works to only write down that information or store it on our laptops or our tablets if we trouble ourselves to enter the information in the right place, in the right file, in the right form. And even then, it can be hard to track down where that crucial nugget of information is hiding. Is the name of that restaurant on my laptop or my phone? I could ask that guy from the conference who told me about it, but what did I do with his email address? So I just thought that was a really neat little blurb from an article that kind of talks really about the exploding information and why we need a tool like OneNote. So as we said, the information is exploding, will continue to accelerate. So those of us that are able to capture and use that information are going to be more effective at an increasing rate in the future. So that could mean you as maybe an individual performer in your organization are going to be way more effective in their roles when you can organize, retrieve, recall, never miss a detail, have the meeting notes you took from 3 weeks ago and what everybody said, what everybody promised, those types of things. And companies overall that can incorporate better information management are going to have a competitive advantage over their competitors that aren't able to do that. And finally, our clients are asking us, Drew, I carry this portfolio with me everywhere, and I've got a stack of yellow legal pads 5 feet tall in my office, but I can never find the note. I can't look through every legal pad I have to find that note from 6 months ago with that meeting I had with a client. How can I use technology to handle this? So we responded with a fairly deep OneNote practice where we help clients use OneNote and do webinars like this and more in-depth on-site training. Okay, so now we've made the case why we need OneNote. Here are just some ways we can use OneNote before we get into the demo. So we can use it to do things like capture meeting notes. We all have meetings. There's action items that come out of those. There's follow-up that needs to happen. There's maybe somebody presents a website that you need to visit and check out that's got some relevant information. Conversations you need to have, maybe with your boss or maybe one of your direct reports. Ideas that come up. Items you want to blog about or put on your corporate website. Emails you need to send. It can go on and on. We can keep our task list up to date using OneNote to ensure we're always focusing on high-value activities. One place where I use it very extensively is to keep note from client interactions. It's great for keeping all the notes from any client meeting you have or phone calls or those types of things. And clients are very impressed when you can pull up exactly what you talked about 6 months ago and where they were at and what you promised to do for them and have all those things recapped and move on. It really aids the interactions significantly. Technical documentation from the web. If we sell a technical product or we all sell things that maybe have specifications and we get those from the web, maybe instructions, things like that, we want to pull those in to our OneNote. We can do that easily. We can do simple things like capture our favorite motivational quotes. I don't know about you, but I get aha brilliant moments when I'm laying in bed kind of trying to settle down for the night or maybe out for a run and I get a great idea. Whip out your smartphone, put it into OneNote, record that brilliance before it leaves your head and able to act on it at a later time. I read a lot of trade magazines. I'm sure a lot of you do too, where we get articles written by other people in our industry that, hey, that's a really good idea. Why I should think about that. Sometimes we think it's a cool idea, but it's not relevant to us at the time. We can scan it into OneNote and have it there. Maybe sometime in the future it becomes a little more relevant to us. We've got it there and ready to go. And we can use it for shared documentation systems in our company. So all the other uses previously I had are more just maybe you organizing your information. We can also use it to organize shared information, maybe a system on how to perform a certain process in your company. You can put that into OneNote. Everybody can access it, and as that process is updated, everybody gets the latest copy of that process. So that's just a few ways you can use OneNote. It's very flexible. There's certainly even more than that. And I'm going to stop showing you slides now, and I'm going to switch to a screen sharing mode and kind of start demonstrating OneNote. So I'll go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, so hopefully now you should be seeing my Windows desktop. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start OneNote. So I've got OneNote installed on my taskbar here. This is that little purple N icon down in my taskbar that I'm hovering over here. And I'm going to go ahead and click it, and it opens up into OneNote. So let's start with a little bit of terminology in OneNote and some basic note handling. So the first kind of organizational structure in OneNote is the notebook. And you can think of that as one of those big spiral notebooks that you probably had at some point, or a 3-ring binder full of paper. And you can see here I've got a couple of notebooks linked. I've got a notebook called Andrew's Notebook and a notebook that just says Technical Reference Guide. So you can create as many notebooks as you want. And OneNote doesn't really force any kind of structure on you. You could create a notebook for your professional life and your personal life. You could create multiple notebooks for each department in your organization or each role you play in the company. It really doesn't force that on you. I tend to really like to just have 2 notebooks, one professional, one personal, and that's what I have here today. So I'll be working primarily out of this notebook. After notebooks, we have the notion of sections. So sections are up here. So you see I've got one called Quick Notes, one called Articles, and I can create additional sections. Sections are like those little tabs that you have in a big notebook where you can quickly thumb tab to a particular section, and you can create as many sections as you want. So I might create a section called Client Projects. And I've created a new section now, and then I can organize within that section. Within sections then we have pages. So pages are essentially, if you wanted to relate it to a physical notebook, would be just a single piece of paper within that notebook, although you can have as many as you want, and you can easily reorganize those in the order and things like that they occur in. So let's go ahead and create a new page in our notebook today. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here and go to the Add Page link and create a new page. So there you see it created a new page called Untitled Page, and we're going to start with just really a basic note. So one of the uses I talked about on the previous slides was maybe even doing something simple as just keeping a great motivational quotes we come across. At our organization, we send out an email every Friday with what's going on in the company, and it always starts with a great motivational quote. So that's useful for me to keep track of those good ones as I run across them, because then I can use them when we send that all-company email out. So I've created a new note here in my notebook, and I'm going to just call it my favorite quotes. So I've titled that note. And then you'll notice over to the right now I've got a note or a page in my notebook under the section Quick Notes in my Andrew's Notebook notebook. So pretty basic there. And then I can go ahead and add to these things as they come up. So maybe I'd like to use a bulleted list. So I'll go ahead and create a bulleted list. And let's see, we have a good quote here. There is only one boss, the customer, and he can fire everyone in the company simply by spending money somewhere else. And that was Sam Walton. So there, we've done something simple. We've created a notebook. We've recorded our favorite quotes. Maybe we come across one later we want to add. Pearls don't lie on the seashore. You have to dive for them. So there, we've just created a simple note, and we recorded a little bit of information in it, and that will be there easily retrievable for us in the future. So simple notes, great way to record those. Oftentimes, though, we're using OneNote and we're doing things in meetings. We've got a lot of meetings in our company, and OneNote is awesome for tracking that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and flip over here to a blank note I have, and I'm going to show a little bit of the integration between Microsoft OneNote and other Microsoft tools. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this meeting details link up here, and what that's going to do is interface with my Microsoft Outlook or my Microsoft Exchange calendar, and it's going to show me all the meetings I have today. So I didn't have to enter this into OneNote. It just automatically put that on there. So here you see today we have a weekly management team meeting in the conference room. So if I'm going to keep notes in that meeting, I can select that meeting, and you see Microsoft OneNote now has automatically set up a note for me. It's set up a note with the title of that meeting automatically, the weekly management team meeting. It set the date. It set the time I created the note. It set the location of the meeting. It's in our conference room here because it pulled that from my Outlook. And it's got the people who are going to be in that meeting here automatically. So now I know when I review back this note without doing really any additional typing, where it was, when it was, and who was in the meeting, and it's really just saved me from having to capture that myself. Now we get into meetings, and really a lot of stuff comes up. So maybe we're in a meeting and we're talking about an event we're going to hold. So maybe Jake, who was in our meeting, reported that we should use the Eventbrite website for our client event. Okay, so that was something that Jake reported. Check into this to see if it would fit our needs. Okay, so I've got something there. We continue through the meeting, and Kyle reports that a blog item on our website should be created for the fantastic OneNote product. Clients will love this. Okay, so we've got some other things that came up in our meeting. So I maybe need to talk to Phil in our organization, who's here in the meeting as well, about a concern that came up with an employee. So I'd probably be more specific. It was an actual concern, but we're just kind of giving some ideas here. While I'm sitting in this meeting, we're maybe talking through some processes and things in our company. I get an idea how I can streamline our customers when they call for support. So I'm going to put a note to myself. So I've got an idea to create some video tips if somebody keeps calling over and over and asking us how to set up an Outlook signature. Maybe we can create a video to optimize for that. It's just an idea that came to me in the middle of the meeting, so I've taken a note there. And Scott, remind to send clients notice of Christmas hours. So we probably have a lot of other stuff came up, but we just made up kind of an event here so we can see how we can search and use this in the future. So that's pretty easy for us to take notes. What we're going to do now is we're actually going to then tag these notes, which will help us create actions out of them. So to do that, so here we have Jake reported that we should use Eventbrite website for our current client. I need to check out that website. We're going to go up here to our tags. So you see this tags menu up here towards the top. I'm kind of moving my pointer around it. And if I hit the drop down here, you'll see a lot of tags here. And if we look around here a little bit, we see one that says website to visit. That sounds pretty good for that tag. So I'm going to go ahead and click that website to visit tag. You'll notice there it puts a little website to visit icon there by that. And we're going to use that tag later to kind of organize what we're doing here. So Kyle reports the blog item on our website should be created for a fantastic OneNote product. Clients will love that. So again, we're going to tag. Let's see what we have here. And let's see here. Source for article. Oh, remember for blog. That might even be better. I'm going to go ahead and hit remember for blog. Talk to Phil about a concern that came up with an employee. We'll hit our tags here again, and let's see what we have. We have discuss with person. That might be good. Discuss with manager. Sure, maybe we'll use that. Discuss with manager. Streamline clients that call in for support by giving them video tips. So let's see how we want to tag that. And we could tag it as a critical. We could tag it as a project. We just got a to-do. We could do a to-do. Or we could just tag it as an idea. So it kind of just depends on how we want to categorize that. I'm going to choose idea this time. And then here it says Scott to remind clients a notice of Christmas hours. So that's an email that needs to be sent. And let's see here. We've got somewhere in here, I think we've got email to send. Send an email. There it is. Okay, so we've tagged a bunch of notes, and we've got our meeting. Our meeting's done now. A lot of times at the end of the meeting then we want to just send the minutes out. Again, we've got some great integration there where if you see towards the top of the page here we have email page. I'm going to click that, and what it's going to do is open right up in my Outlook. You'll see it's automatically populated. Everybody was in that meeting. Again, getting the integration from Microsoft Outlook. It's automatically published the subject of that meeting. I might just add on to it. And here are the minutes. And you'll notice it has, oops, I wish I could type and spell better while I was talking. And here it has basically just all the notes in the email. So we've got notes that are tagged for action. We've got who was in the meeting. We've got all the detail that we took. Click send there, and everybody will have that information sent to them. So really handy for just quickly sending notes to other people using the email system. Okay, so we've created some simple notes. We've created some notes using the Outlook integration to take meeting minutes, and we've tagged notes for follow-up. So I'm going to come back to how we use those things for follow-up here in a little bit, but I want to keep going to show how we get information into OneNote first. OneNote also has templates, and those are pretty cool too. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new blank note here, and this time I'm going to go Insert and Page Templates. So you see Page Templates here, and I'll go down to Page Templates here. So here you'll notice it opened up a series of pre-built templates, and we see some business templates. That sounds pretty good. And let's see here, we have formal meeting notes. We'll see what that looks like. So you see it's created a template where it's kind of similar to the one I just did, but it's got a little bit more information with an agenda, an opening, approval of minutes, open issues, new business, adjournment, things like that. So the point is you can choose from pre-built templates, which are great to save you some time, and also it'll help you keep your notes in the same format if you're doing the same note over and over again. So you've got pre-built templates, or you can build your own. So you can build your own with your own company branding, your own company colors, and really build the template how you want to see it. So template's really a really great feature there. I can't go into too much more detail on this short time frame, but did just want to point out that they were there and available. Okay, so we've created simple notes, we've created notes using the integration, and we've used templates. Another really common way of using OneNote that we touched on earlier is using data from the web. We've got great data from the web that we find valuable. So, whoops. I really like Seth Godin's blog. He's a really, he's written a couple of great books, and I just find his stuff really interesting. So perhaps I'm reading this blog, and I just really find this article something that I really want to save and use. What I can do is simply click this article. I could highlight what I want, and if I right-click it, and I could do Send to OneNote. And I should get a let's try that again. I'll actually use the Send to OneNote feature here from my toolbar. You can see up here. It really does the same thing. I'm not quite sure why that's not working today. I use this computer for a lot of demos. I'm constantly changing it, and sometimes that causes some issues. But now that I'm selecting the the article to OneNote. I'm going to go and choose to put it on that blank page I created and click OK. It'll take just a moment here, but then now you see back in my OneNote, it automatically added the title, Seth's blog, the title of his blog entry, the day I clipped it, and then if I scroll down, I've got that blog entry here, which is really a great way to clip that information in. Sometimes though we don't want to clip entire articles. We just find little bits of information we want to clip into OneNote. So I'm going to go ahead and add in another blank note to my OneNote, and I'm going to go back to the web. And I've got this really neat infographic I came across, but it's kind of complex, and perhaps I just want this little piece of information here in the middle. So I've got this little OneNote helper that starts automatically, and you'll notice I've got a screen clipping option here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that screen clipping option, and I'm going to just highlight just that piece of information that I want to save. So there you see I'm doing that with the selector here. After I do that, it's going to ask me where I want to put it. I'll select that blank page. And now if I go back to my OneNote, you'll notice there I've got that little piece of information clipped. It puts the complete URL down there below and the day I clipped it, and then I can give it a note. So I'm able to clip little bits of information into OneNote. Where that can be very handy too is if you're wanting to document how to use a particular product, maybe a screen that you come across that has a bunch of checkboxes and things on it that you or somebody else in your company has to fill. You can set it up exactly the way it needs to look, do a quick screen clipping, put it into OneNote, and you've got it there available in the future when you need to reference it. Okay, so we've clipped some things in from the blogs, and we've clipped screen information in. A lot of times too, though, we get things like maybe PDF files that have great information in them. Or we scan something into our scanner, our company scanner, and from a magazine, a trade journal, some of the things we talked about earlier, that's great for keeping as well. So I've got an articles section over here. I'm going to go ahead and flip over to there. And here you see an article that I have previously scanned in. You can kind of see that I tore it out of a notebook. You can see the kind of my tear marks here. And I just simply scanned it and attached it right into OneNote. And that's very easy to do, to do more of. So I can click Add Page here. And then you'll notice right here on my computer I've got this PDF file here, which came from a phone vendor, a telephone vendor. So what I can do is just go to my note, and I can go ahead and do a file attachment. Let's see here. Where did I put that? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and select that PDF. And I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, I'm going to do Insert Printout. So what that's going to do is it's going to take that PDF and open it, and it's going to insert that PDF right into OneNote. So here you see that PDF. It's on a phone conferencing system. And the interesting thing is not only did it just insert this PDF into my OneNote where then I can find it and reference it, is OneNote will actually index all of the words inside this PDF, which will make it useful when I go to retrieve that later, which we'll show here in just a minute. So OneNote is also allowing you to then search inside those PDFs or those things you scanned in. Kind of the last thing I wanted to show is putting in OneNote is you're able to insert pictures. So we have a lot of whiteboard sessions in our company, and sometimes they've got really just great information on there. At the end of the meeting, I'll just snap a picture with my iPhone, and then I'll insert it into OneNote. So again, we can go ahead and we see here Insert Picture. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to go to where I have got the whiteboard session. There you see it. And I'm going to select that. And then now you see a whiteboard session with some graphs and some drawings and some things we circled and some things we wrote in red, all that kind of stuff. Got that into OneNote. Again, it took the time and the date, and it allowed me to search on that. Okay, well, moving right along here, we've inserted a lot of data into OneNote. So I'm going to switch gears now and show us how to get that information out of OneNote, which is where the real power comes in. We're going to be putting stuff into OneNote every single day, and we may have years worth of data in there. And OneNote is awesome for quickly finding that. So one of the interesting things is Again, when we do scan things in from magazines or PDFs, OneNote will actually search inside those documents. So I scanned something in a while back, and the person's last name was Machan, M-A-C-H-A-N. So I'm just going to go ahead and type into my search field up here, and here you see it found it right away. Less strain, better brain. I can click on that, and you'll see not only did it find the word Machan inside this article I scanned in, which you can see here from the rips down the side and the little dog-eared corner that it was just scanned in, so it's actually highlighted the area inside the document where that information appeared. So if I have, maybe I know, hey, I'm searching, I read something about Priceline.com. I can click that again. There it's highlighted the word Priceline.com then within that document and allowed me to quickly find that information. Taking that a little bit further, I knew I attended a webinar a while back, and the guy was talking about head count, and I have no idea where I put the note. I took my notes, I put them into OneNote. I don't want to search all my notes to find it. I'm going to use the search. So I can type head count. Here you see a couple of hits come up. There you see the title of my note, Service Leadership Webinars, it was a webinar. I remembered that at least. I clicked that, and it highlighted on head count there, right on the notes that I took as I was attending this webinar. I took these notes here, and I was instantly able to find that. We can also use quotation marks to find exact phrases. So if I had exact phrases, I could type quotation marks around there just like you would using Google. Or we can use and or logic. So for example, we may be doing a search, and I don't remember if I used the word financial or I used the word compensation. So I can just type financial, and you'll see I've got 19 hits there. I could type or compensation. Now I've got 20 hits. So using the words financial or compensation, I'm able to probably much more quickly find the notes that I'm looking for by using that and or logic. So we've shown a little bit of search. I want to come back to, and we're kind of running out of time here, how we use the tags. So as again, we tagged a lot of notes earlier, and you'll notice up here I've got this Find Tags feature. And I'm going to go ahead and click that Find Tags feature. And you'll notice here we've got group tags by tag name, and then I've got it set to search just today's notes. I'm not really interested in attendance, so I'm going to close that. And you'll notice here I've got a bunch of notes for Discuss with Manager. So there I've got Talk to Phil about a concern I have. I've got ideas. I've got Remember for blog, things I need to send in the email, and websites I need to visit. Now we've only tagged one set of notes here, but if you think about it and you're tagging all your notes, you may have hundreds of notes, you can then coordinate everything you need to blog on, everything you need to email, all websites you need to visit, and have a complete list of those here. And again, we can do just today, we could do just this week, just this notebook. I could do all my tags and then sort by that. We also have the ability then to create a summary page of these tag notes. So if I click the Create Summary page, there you see it kind of put out into a new note, and it has all of my tags there and ready to go. So that's kind of a basic start to OneNote. I do want to show really quick though what it looks like on mobile. And I'm going to go ahead and start something here. All right, so this is my iPhone that I've projected onto my screen. Hopefully you're able to see that okay. And you'll notice OneNote there in the purple in the middle of the screen. So that's a free download from the App Store. I'm going to go ahead and start that. And you'll notice you're here in our demo section. And does some of that look familiar? That's instantly synced using my cloud service. And here you see my favorite quotes. I'll go ahead and open that up. And there you see those quotes we put in earlier. So you see how easily that is accessible for your iPhone. And if I put a note in here on the iPhone, it'll instantly sync then back to my new quote. So you'll instantly see how you're able to add quotes there and get to those very, very simply from the iPhone. Okay, so I did promise I would talk just really briefly about implementation considerations, and I'm going to open it up to questions. So, how do you get OneNote? Well, it's actually a free download. Microsoft has made it free. So if you don't have it, you can go to just Google Microsoft OneNote and you can go download it for free. However, you probably already have it installed on your PC. It's included with Microsoft Office, which most of us business people have, and it's probably already installed. If you need any help with that, you can feel free to give us a call. One of the few things we do recommend, and of course we recommend this because this is what we do, but it really is a good recommendation. If you want to use it for yourself or your company, if you're a business person, you want to get your company set up on this, get a few hours of consulting to get it set up right. And really the next step is what we do. We want to make sure that we choose the file storage location for that OneNote database, that we put it somewhere safe. And by safe, I mean somewhere that's going to be backed up. And if you just leave it on your computer and your computer crashes, you might lose all your notes. So we usually recommend a product called OneDrive Pro or OneDrive Personal. If you're an Office 365 SharePoint or Office 365 subscriber, you probably already have that available. By putting it out there on that OneDrive then, it's easily accessible to all your mobile devices, where if you just put it on your computer, then it's not quite as accessible to your phones, and the product I just demoed with my phones won't work as well. You can also put your OneNote files on your server at work, which can work great. That can back it up and protect it, but then you will lose some of the mobility of benefits of being able to get to it quickly from your mobile devices. Really at that point, you just create a blank workbook, hook up, create a blank notebook, a blank workbook, hook up all your devices, your computers, your laptops, your tablets, your smartphones. You can get started just using your office computer, but the real power comes when you can get to these things from anywhere. You can be laying in bed and taking notes, creating great ideas you have, or getting it to it from client meetings and putting those notes in right there, or retrieving those right from client meetings. It gets really powerful. And then just start using it. OneNote is very forgiving. There's not a lot you can do wrong. So you may start using it and then figure out you want to organize a little differently, but then it's really easy to just drag your notes and organize them the way you want it. So you don't have to be bashful when using OneNote. You can dive right in. The last step, which you've already gotten a taste for today, but if you're deploying this to your company and you're a business person saying, hey, I need this for all of my people, don't forget the training. Even 1 hour of having someone like us come in and deliver a training class can deliver a huge bump in effectiveness and get people less bashful about using it and give them the tools they need to really start using it. So those are really the implementation considerations. Looks like I ran about 5 minutes long, which isn't too bad. If there are any questions now, I'll definitely take those now. If anybody needs to drop off, I understand because we hit our limit, but I'm going to stay on for at least 5 or 10 minutes if there's enough questions to take those. Let's see here. We do have a couple of questions. If you use OneNote in a business setting, can you have shared notebooks and private notebooks? That was a question from Nancy. Yes, you absolutely can, and that is actually the way I like to do it. I like to have a private notebook just for myself, and then we have a shared notebook for like our technical service department, where we keep how-tos and technical documentation and processes and things like that. That makes it really easy just to separate your stuff from the department or the company stuff. That being said, within OneNote, you can password protect certain sections. So if you have a section that's highly sensitive, you can put a separate password on that and kind of do security within that. But for the most part, I recommend creating separate notebooks for those details. The second question we had, is this the Office 2013 version? And it is. I'm demoing the 2013 version today. Again, OneNote is free, so if you want it, you can download the latest version for free, even if you have a previous version of Office, of regular Office. So, for example, you could run Office 2010 and use OneNote 2013 with no issues. OneNote 2010 though works well too. So if you've already got that and you want to use that, it's not a huge deal. Let's see if we have any other questions here. They're kind of coming in pretty fast. The next question is, would you get to creating tasks from these notes? And that was kind of one of the things I had to cut just because of the limited time frame. But if you want to play with it on your own, basically creating tasks is just tagging and choosing a task. And that will actually give you the ability to then pull it into your tag notes that I showed earlier using a to-do or a task. And then you can actually check those off as you get them done. And then they won't appear on your tag summary anymore. So it's really, really simple, and you can pretty much envision how it works. Then another question we just got is, how does this program complement Evernote? And the answer is, it really is not a complement. It's more of a substitute. Evernote is a fantastic program as well, and it's a little different, but the idea is the same. It allows you to incorporate and keep that information. I actually was a very heavy Evernote user as well, and I've kind of used that in my personal life, and I've continued to do that just because I've got it installed and I've got over 1,000 notes in there. But I've really switched to OneNote for my corporate use for a couple of reasons, and one of the main ones is that Microsoft Office integration. It's already there. It's integrated so I can do things like pull in meeting notes that we showed earlier, and most of our clients are already on a Microsoft environment, so I wanted to make sure I was using the same products our clients were using. So if you're already using Evernote and like it, it probably will fit your needs just as well as OneNote will. But for most people starting out, I do recommend OneNote just because of the Microsoft integration in business and the fact that Evernote, you do have to pay for Evernote if you want the business features and the anything above a simple personal account. You do have to pay for, and OneNote is free. So sometimes that makes it a little easier for businesses to get over the hurdle to use it. Let's see here. Can OneNote be used for filing email sent? It certainly can. I don't necessarily keep every single email I sent in OneNote, although you probably could. But if I'm sending particularly detailed communication that I need to document, I can easily pull that email right into OneNote. But I typically personally don't find a lot of crossover where I'm putting every single email I receive in OneNote or send in OneNote. Where I do use it, though, is if somebody sends me an email that has very detailed instructions or very detailed information, I pull those into OneNote very frequently. I'll take that email, put it into OneNote, and then just delete the email, because then I can search for it, I can find it, I can organize it by the project that email was. So I do that very frequently. But I suppose you could, if you've got a particular use case that has a need in your business, we'd maybe be happy to look at that offline to see if what you're trying to accomplish and how we can map OneNote to that. We had another question come in from Kathy. Can you share information from OneNote with somebody who doesn't have OneNote? And there's a couple ways you can do that. One of the easiest ways we actually showed earlier is, so if somebody, maybe you're talking to somebody that's maybe not even in your company, they don't have OneNote, and obviously you wouldn't want to deal with helping them install it and all that stuff anyway. Probably the easiest thing to do is just go to the note that you want to communicate to that individual that doesn't have it, and just click that email note function. That'll pull all the information from that note into an email. You can type in their email address and click send, and then you've communicated in 2 clicks, and it could be a very detailed note that's in your system. So that's probably one of the real easy ways to do that. Okay, well, it looks like I've kind of come to the end of the questions that I can take here. If there's any additional questions, you can feel free to send them in on our website. You can just go to pltechnology.com and go to the Contact Us and put your question in there, and I'd be happy to answer it to the best of my abilities. The very last thing we've got today is we just wanted to announce our NOLOGY Delivered User Conference 2015 is going to be back in 2015. We just held that here in 2014, and it was a huge success. One of the quotes we received after the event this year was Phil. Phil's one of our senior leaders here. Phil, I screwed up. I should have brought more people to this event because it was great. And that was from an owner of a business. So we're holding it again. It's going to be November 10th, 2015. at the Embassy Suites La Vista in Omaha. And actually in La Vista, I guess. There's going to be something for everyone there. We'll have focused training for frontline staff on popular products. We'll actually be doing another OneNote. We'll be doing a full hour or hour and 15 minutes of OneNote, similar to the content here but expanded. We're going to have more hands-on training this year. So rather than watching me show OneNote, we're going to have your own computer in a lot of cases where you can actually drive and use OneNote because sometimes people find that to be more effective learning. We'll also have executive-only content. If you're a business owner or a manager, there'll be some executive-only content on how to use IT in your business to drive results. So we do have a special. If you want to pre-register for that, I know it's quite a ways down the road, but we're offering that at $49. That's over 50% off what we normally charge for the full day. I mean, if you think about training, that's dirt cheap. Our goal is not to make any money here. It's basically just to kind of cover our expenses for the room and things, for the rooms and lunches and things like that. So if you want to register, pltechnology.com/events. We'll take you to the registration site. We'll have an agenda coming out in 2015. But if you attended this year, you probably want to attend again. If you didn't attend, you should. We'd love to see you. So we'll have more on this coming out later, but you might want to take advantage of that early bird and get registered. So yeah, thank you very much for attending today. I know I'm just a little bit long here, but wanted to make sure that we allowed plenty of time for questions. Really enjoyed having you. Watch our site for future upcoming webinars, and have a great day.